Hello, 102ers, and welcome to week 3. There are a few things to tackle this week, and your first major paper is to be submitted. Fun times, right? Are you ready for that? Look, I'm not going to assume that you're all avidly watching this week's video with your family and friends being at the barbecue or at the pool, so hopefully you're just watching it, Tuesday. Sorry. Hopefully you'll forgive me and just continue with the week in the best way possible. So, Unit 1 is in the past, and now we are starting Unit 2. Once again, we have this lovely weekly announcement. Same as it ever was, folks. We start off with commentary, we have our video, we have what to preview coming up, we have what to read this week, and we have the assignments that are due. So all of this will be here in the announcements that are accessible from the main page, this one here. And then if you roll over here to the right and click on View the Course Schedule, you should get to this. Perfect. This is exactly what I want to see. So if we can scroll down to week 3, as you can see, it's the beginning of Unit 2. Well, guess what? You have 4 documents to review, and I'm going to quickly go over a couple of them. And then you have 2 assignments to submit, but this one here is a biggie, okay? Will this be the week I finally go less than 15 minutes? God, I hope so. I'm really tired of these long videos. Anyway, let's chat about the first document and get to it. In What is a Comparative Essay? There it is. Honestly, it's exactly what it sounds like. This is the Unit 2 paper, and this is how to do it. So as you can see here, we're going to have this. I don't know why they do this thing link. It's pointless. You click on it. Yay, we get to see it's a title page. It doesn't actually show you anything else. So we have this pretty little picture, and then it gets down to what the samples might look like, and you can download the samples, and the requirements are right here, which is probably what most of you are going to care about. But I'm going to go over that anyway, okay? So, here's the thing. What you're going to do is really dig deep into a minimum of 2 sides of your argument. Obviously, the one side you already agree with, and the other side that you don't actually agree with. For some of you, one versus the other is very easy because you have a binary argument. For others, you have a much more nuanced argument, so you might think outside the box and find a strong side, which is one of many. In any case, you'll be looking all over for the perspectives rather than the specific sources at this time. This is the key difference from the first paper. You're going to then reassemble those pieces into an understandable statement. It's called synthesis. There are a lot of building blocks that you can put together in any way that you want, and not everyone will put them together in exactly the same way unless they're following very specific instructions. For example, think about Legos. When you get a new Lego set, probably 99% of the people empty the box out and they build the intended kit with the instructions. They end up with a boat, or a castle, or a spaceship, or a bust of Darth Vader. Perfect. They look at it for a little while, maybe play with it for a little while, and then what? Well, they take it apart. Now, some people put those pieces away to build the exact same thing again in the future. But some? Well, we say, I could take this castle apart. I can build a boat with it. Or I can change Darth Vader's bust into a spaceship. The pieces remain the same, but now our own ideas and our own creativity let us put forth those exact same pieces in a different way. They create a brand new result. That is synthesis, and that is what you'll be doing with this paper. Now, like I said, you can go through this page and look at the sample paper right here. You can do all that. That's great. You can't have too much material, right? But you can also go to the announcement and click on the provided link under Review to see this. Again, I'm not going to go over this today in detail because it's not due for another 3 or 4 weeks. But I just want to discuss the ideas that you have access to right now so you can see what the end result will be. It's going to be 4 to 6 double-spaced pages, and you're going to be adding new sources to it. So look through this, figure out what you might be a little concerned about. Introduction, background, comparative perspectives, 2 paragraphs, exploratory synthesis conclusion. Okay, great. And then I have the sample paper right here that's going to show you exactly how it should be formatted, what the title, the headers should be. Everything is going to be perfect, okay? So we'll go over this in detail in a couple weeks. But right now, this is kind of what it's going to look like. Perfect. Oh, and as you can see, I did link that Unit 2 essay sample right here under the learning materials as well. So it's not just in the preview, but it's also in the announcements. So our next document that you will review today is the Finding Your Synthesis question. There it is. Beautiful. It's actually very important. There's a need for you to learn the difference between what's called a question of fact, or what I like to call as a closed question, or a question of opinion, or what I've always referred to as an open question. A question of fact, or a closed question, is a question where the answer is brief and definitive. What time is it? What color is that? What type of car is that? All quick and easy answers. A question of opinion, or an open question, is something where the answer can be debated for hours or days or months or decades or centuries. What happens after we die? Is there life out there in the vast reaches of space? Is there a God? Will the Philadelphia Flyers ever win another Stanley Cup? Sadly, that last answer breaks my heart a little. It's tough being a Philadelphia sports fan. You young people have no idea the decades of heartbreak we old warhorses have endured. In any case, once you get the idea which question is which, you can start to build your synthesis question. That is, a question which introduces your argument to the masses and is specific enough to not cause a lot of confusion. You have to avoid the vagueness and the direct answers and be a bit more open-minded about the information. So, take a look at that. You can how to find your synthesis question. There's 4 good parts here to take a look at. But remember, it's got to be something that can't be answered quickly, and it can't be already proven. All right? So, there we go. Once we get through this, we can take a look at using SIRS to conduct research. But honestly, it's kind of something that I've already talked about. It's how to do your research in SIRS, how to get there. You can either click here, or you can go back to the main page, click on library, and then right down here at the bottom is SIRS. Click on that, and off you go, okay? So what we have here is basically the how-to. You can watch the video if you'd like, whatever works for you. Whatever, really. This is just kind of like a common sense page. Perfect. So, going back, we went through that. If you'd like to try the questions of opinion or fact, this is a page which you can go through and determine whether or not the question you're asking is opinion or if it's fact. If you have any questions on it, you can email me. I can explain why certain questions are answered the way they are. But since it's optional, I anticipate that none of you are going to do it. Okay. So let's take a look at our actual assignments this week. So let's start with the Unit 1 paper, the same thing you worked on last week. And I would like to show you the sample and directions. Okay, so clicking on this will take us to here. And you can see that I have all of the instructions right here, including a link to the directions and sample. Let's take a look at that real quick. Hey, look, there it is. You're going to be typing a 3 to 4 paged double-spaced paper. Here are all the requirements, okay? We're going to need 2 well-chosen and evaluated sources. You're going to be using APA 12-point font. You're going to be using third person throughout, with first person only when applicable. Do not use second person. Once again, first person is I, me, my. Second person is you, your, yourself. We don't want to use that, all right? We're going to have an introductory paragraph. We're going to have a development or body, which is a minimum of 6 paragraphs, okay? 6. So it's a little bit of different development from the samples that the college gives you, because I'm asking for two additional paragraphs. Excuse me. First additional paragraph is the research methodology paragraph. It sounds scary, but it's really not. You're going to give 3 research questions. You're going to tell me where you looked for your sources, like Credo, EBSCOhost, New York Times, SIRS. Then you're going to tell me how you search for them. Literally, what did you type in the search box to get them? Okay? Then, as you look at that, what I'd like you to do is transition from there into a discussion of each of your sources. You're going to summarize source 1 and then evaluate it. Remember, with the evaluation, you're going to be talking about the CRAP test, right? We have the summary of source 2 and then the CRAP test again. And then the final development paragraph is going to be a research reflections. That's it. What did you expect to find that you didn't? What did you find that you didn't expect to find, and so forth? Read through this paragraph. And then, of course, a quick and easy conclusion. But I'm not just going to stop you there. I'm giving you an entire sample. So you can take a look and see exactly how it should be put together. Your title page should reflect mine, with the exception of changing this to your name, and changing this to my name, and changing this to the due date. Okay? And then, here we go. Our introduction. Please notice that there's no word introduction anywhere. We go down here to research methodology. I have 1, 2, 3 research questions. I'm telling you where I found things, and I'm telling you literally how I searched for them. See? It's an additional paragraph, but guess what? It's not tough, I promise. Then we have our summary of this first source. We have our summary of the second source. Evaluation of the first source, and I'm showing you that we're talking about currency, relevance, accuracy, authority, and purpose. Crap. Down here, summary of the second source, and then once again, we have currency, relevance, accuracy, authority, and purpose. We're mentioning all of them. So please make sure to include them. Then we have a very short research reflections, kind of what you expected to find, and take a look through it. It's all right there. I'm not going to just tell you do this and not give you any samples, okay? We have our quick conclusion, and then our references will begin on the next page. Any outside sources that you use within this paper should be reflected on this references page. So, I try to explain it right here as well. Development, we have our research reflections, we have our conclusion. Everything that you need is right there. If nothing makes sense to you, reach out and email me, and I will be very happy to explain it. Then we have our revisiting your topic discussion board. Another discussion board? I actually really like discussion boards. You wake up a little bit. If you take it seriously, I can see the wheels turning in your head. I can also see who doesn't give a damn. It's a win-win for me. So, the discussion board is going to be this. I'm going to ask you to go through, using the same topic, you're going to answer these 6 bulleted questions. I do not want you to answer them in bullet point format. I would like you to work them into 1 or 2 cohesive paragraphs, okay? So as you go through, you're going to answer these 6 questions and post it right like you normally would. Oh, look, I have a sample for you. So here's my sample. Do not reply to it. I gave 3 paragraphs because I'm an English teacher. I did 2 bullet points per paragraph. You can do 6 and 1. You can do 3 and 3, whatever. Whatever it works for you. Just hit all 6 points. And then when you go through and you reply to your peers, I want more than just, hey, you're right. Or, wow, that was great. Or, gee, that sucked. I want to see an actual understanding of what's going on here, okay? So if you take a look at this, I actually give you 4 bullet points I want you to answer in the feedback. So for each of your responses to your peers, I want you to hit these 4 points. As you can see, I did that. I kind of responded to myself just to show you, but that's what it's going to look like, okay? Those are the assignment, folks. Are there any questions? Well, email me before the due date. So that's the week. Hopefully it's not too stressful for you. Now that the summer has unofficially begun, stay in the shade and keep yourselves wet in the pool. For those of you who are beach people, well, you can definitely have it. Have a great week. Be good. Rest up. See ya.